Latin. Latin is an ancient Italic language influenced by the Greek alphabet. This is the Latin alphabet. As you can see, it's very similar to the English alphabet with a few exceptions.
There are 7 different types of Latin: archaic, classic, vulgar, medieval, Renaissance, new, and contemporary. Archaic Latin, which means old or early. It was during the 75 BCE, before the 1st century Rome. It included lexile terms and phrases from an earlier time. It was during the late Roman Republic. Classic Latin, meaning good Latin. It was spoken and written, and it included rules for writing poetry. It was during the Roman Republic, which then transferred to the Roman Empire. Vulgar Latin. It was a non-standard version of Latin, and Romantic languages came from this form, including English, Spanish, French, and Italian. Vulgar speech is today used in advertisements and graffiti. Medieval Latin. It was used in the Middle Ages, and it was during the Roman Catholic Church time, and it was called Late Latin. It was a scholar language, and it was spoken in most of Europe during the Roman Empire. Renaissance Latin. It was called Real Latin, and spoken in Europe during the 14th and 15th centuries. Poetry and Gothic writing was written in this form. New Latin. 16th to 19th centuries, and it was used for scientific purposes. Modern terminology comes from this form. Contemporary Latin. It's from 20th century to now. Academic words and phrases come from this form, and it's universal around the world.
Latin was influenced by the Etruscans and went on to influence languages like English, Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian. Latin was the language of international communication around the world for approximately 1,500 years. Obviously, they didn't have cell phones, but you get the picture. It was also the language of science until the late 17th century. To this day, Latin is taught in many schools around the world, as well as many scholars speak it as a second language. Many modern novels have been translated into Latin, such as Harry Potter or Harrius Potter, Cat in the Hat or Catus Patastus, and The Hobbit or Hobbitus Illa.
Here are some Latin root words that are used today. Anima, meaning life or soul. Civis, meaning community. There's the civic center. Lex, or legalis, meaning law or legal.
Manus means hand, and digitus means finger. Digit is now used to mean number, and some people like to count on their fingers.
Portar, meaning to carry, which is kind of like the word portage, which is also meaning to carry or bring something across somewhere. And it's also like a porter who carries your bags for you.
Urbs, meaning city, now used in words such as urban or suburban. There's my little suburbs. Here's our bibliography.
Ms. Martin will show it to you later, when we actually have a paper copy. Thank you from the deepest chest.
From the bottom of our hearts.